Sweet. So, welcome everyone to our third and final, unfortunately, final live chat. My name is Rania. I'll be going to my second year of Arts and Business Economics starting fall 2020, and I'm from Pakistan.
And if you guys joined us before, you remember that I am Claudia. I am going into my fourth year of Arts and Business and Speech Communications, and I am an international student from Honduras.
Hello, bonjour. Once again, my name is Kealan. I am an international student who's lived all of his life in France and Trinidad, and I am going into my master's program of environmental resource and sustainability at the University of Waterloo from September. So you are probably wondering why we are dressed. So, we are decked out in our shirts, Claudia is in her black blazer and Rania is fully as professional. It's because we are speaking about job interviews today and the core programs at the university, so it's only fit that we dress the part.
Definitely. I see that Rania and Kealan are both coordinated in your dress shirts. I am wearing a black blazer with a black shirt, very interview appropriate. I only own black clothes, I feel like. So please excuse my monochrome look, but you have no idea. Like all of my clothes are black. So that's something I will be working on definitely, but we're wearing interview clothes because we feel like it's an important thing that, for example, many underestimate. I did. So definitely, for example, for me, I'm not in a co-op. I am an arts and business regular. So when I came to Waterloo, I did not think about bringing an interview outfit. I was like, you know what? I'm going to figure that one out later. And unfortunately, for me, I forgot that business courses have a lot of presentations. So if you're in Arbus, environment and business, I think I saw someone from environment and business. All of those classes from business will have some type of presentation, and it's always nice to dress up. So I remember in my first term, I forgot to bring my clothes, and I was asking my friend next door for a blazer, and we were all sharing the same blazer. Each one of us, after each presentation, I was wearing her blazer, then I would take it off and she would put it on. So definitely, if you want to avoid all of the hassle, bring something that you feel like could be professional, you would feel comfortable presenting yourself in, because it's definitely something that you will need, whether you get a surprise interview or a presentation that you no longer expected. Definitely something that you should be keeping in mind when you're packing.
Yeah, and honestly, Claudia, you're killing the look, so you don't even have to apologize. You look great, so don't worry about that. And honestly, like talking about interview clothes, I think one of the biggest concerns I have is what shoes do I wear because it'll be like I'll have co-op in winter, and I don't know if I should get boots, I don't know if I should get heels, I don't know if I should get loafers, and it differs obviously like to an individual basis, so it's a bit difficult to like talk to other people about it, get their insight because everyone has a different, suggestion. So I think that's like one thing that I'm personally concerned about is what shoes do I wear.
Right, so do not forget your shoes, do not forget your blazer. So, fantastic. Let us know if you are planning to bring some business attire to school with you when you eventually come to Canada. This is our first activity of the morning. So please let us know in the comments. Don't forget to message all participants if you are planning to bring some business attire to school with you when you come here eventually.
And while you're leaving us a comment, I'm just going to recap what happened last week. So we talked about all of the ways that you can get involved on campus and all of the programs that can ease your transition. So please let us know if you have checked the IPC or the International Peer Community, and let us know if you have checked more about WUSA, the Waterloo Undergraduate Student Association, and Waterloo Athletics. Today, we will be talking about classroom culture at UWaterloo, tips for working in Canada, co-op work permits, and all you need to know before getting started. So definitely, it's a lot of information for today's live chat. So pay attention. There's a lot of information that's going to come on, a lot of things that will help you ease your transition and that will help you feel more comfortable. And just like in the other two live chats, send in your questions to all participants in the chat so we can all see your questions and comments. And if you're having any technical difficulties, please let us know by messaging the Ask Us panelist. She's there. Hello. She will help you out. And lastly, again, we want you guys to have the full live chat experience. So on the video window, if you hover over to the top right corner, there will be the options for how you want to see us. So click the grid view option and you will be able to see us in a grid view, see all of our faces at the same time, and enjoy the live chat.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for that, Claudia. And just like last time, we'll be having a prize giveaway. This time, we'll be giving away $25 worth of Flex dollars. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically the extra money you have on your What card besides your meal plan. So this can be used on the on-campus, convenience store. You can use this to buy merch, and if you're living in residence, you can use this for laundry as well, because that's something that I personally did not take care of. I spent all my money on merch, so make sure you save some of the money for yourself for laundry as well. So stick around to the end of the live chat to know how you can win the prize giveaway.
Definitely
Flex
a
dollars.
great prize.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, Claudia.
Oh, no, sorry. What were you saying?
No, I just got excited about the flex dollars. That's all.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. A great price, very flexible. Haha.
Flexible.
Flex dollars, yes.
Flick.
Yeah. So okay. While you guys are getting the idea of what you're gonna purchase with those $25, I'm gonna look back at your comments for what you said about bringing business attire. So I see that Yash, Aisha, and Shanfei all are bringing. They said yes, I am. Hargan and Sania as well. Avani and Alexandria and Irene said yes, but confused about shoes too. So definitely take Rania's advice. I feel like if you have, for me, I feel like if you have a good pair of boots that, are not like combat Doc Martens, but something a little bit more, professional, you will be completely fine. Also, everybody understands there's a lot of slush and a lot of ice in winter, so definitely I feel like your interviewers will be flexible with that. I see that Laura is going to bring business attire now. Thank you for telling us. No problem, Laura. Honestly, bring something. You don't want to be sharing a blazer and have a whole mess going on at the back of the bathroom before your ARBIS class. Not something you want to happen. I see that Shagun, Siddharth, and Nandish said yes and asked about the shoes in winter. So again, something that you could do is just change your shoes, take your boots, and then when you're outside of the interview, change them. Something that works like wonders. I did that. I changed into like my heels or flats just before the interview. Or if you feel more comfortable, just buy a pair of boots that you can wear that feel a little bit more classy and just wear them for your interviews. Hopefully the ice won't ruin them. And then I see whole lot of more boots from Ahida and C. So yeah, definitely boots are a big one. And I feel like everybody, Shiv, Dashan, and Shrish said that they're bringing business attire too. So definitely a lot of people bringing their interview outfits. So way more prepared than I was. You guys are way ahead of the game. You guys are gonna do great.
Woohoo.
Fantastic. And as Claudia mentioned, something that you could do as well is walk with your interview shoes and slip them on right before the interview. So what you can do is carry your interview shoes in, say, a shoe bag with you to the interview, change them, and then put them back into the shoe bag. And for the guys, based on my experience, you would want, if you don't currently own winter shoes, you would probably want to purchase them here because those are quite heavy and they could take up a lot of space in your suitcase. So it's best if you purchase your winter boots if in Canada if you haven't done so as yet. And you also have a wide selection of boots here because it's quite a necessity in winter. Alrighty, so to start off, we would like to acknowledge that right now, as is customary, the territorial acknowledgement. So we would like to acknowledge that we are sitting on the traditional territory of the neutral Anishinaabe and Haudenosaunee peoples. The University of Waterloo is situated on the Alderman Tract, the land promised to the Six Nations that include 10 kilometers on each side of the Grand River. We believe it is important to acknowledge the original inhabitants of the land as a step towards reconciliation. And we wanted to introduce you to territorial acknowledgements before you come to Canada, as they are an important part of living and studying at the University of Waterloo.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Kealan. And with that, I'd really like to ask everyone down in the comments, what faculty are you joining this fall? So we want to know what you'll be studying. Tell us down in the chat box, and once again, remember to message all participants. On that note, we've invited Ryan Trelford from the Faculty of Mathematics to tell us about classroom culture at the University of Waterloo and some of the changes you may experience while learning online. If you have questions during our conversation, leave them in the chat and we will try to get them at the end. So I see that he's joining us. Welcome, Ryan.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Hello,
How are
Ryan.
you?
Good.
See you.
Okay, good. You can see me. Good, good. So how's everyone doing?
Great.
Great.
Good.
Still in the weekend mode in a sense, but yeah, everything's fine.
Yeah. Every day's a work day for me, so.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and we'd really like if you'd introduce yourself to the audience.
Yeah, hello everyone, and welcome to the University of Waterloo. My name is Ryan Trelford, and I'm a lecturer with the Faculty of Mathematics, and I'm also an academic advisor for our mathematics first-year students.
So one thing that I just wanted to start right off with a question. From your perspective, what are some of the main differences between learning online and then learning in the classroom?
Okay, yeah, so that's a big first question. I brought my little cheat sheet here because I like to come prepared. So the biggest thing, of course, with online courses is that you won't actually be on campus, which causes things to go a little bit differently than what you may have expected when you applied to the University of Waterloo. The way the courses are handling things is one of two ways. Some courses are being offered synchronously and some courses are being offered asynchronously. So a synchronous course will have, excuse me, scheduled times where the instructor will, do a live broadcast and talk about the course material students can watch, and then the broadcast can be recorded and played again later. Asynchronous will typically, post all the material in advance with some videos and things like that, and you can watch them on your own free time. As a result, your schedule may become a little bit less rigid. So if you're one of these students that depends on having a schedule that tells you where to be and when to be there, you may not have quite that as you're expecting. So this will require from you a little bit of motivation on your part to make sure that you're still doing things. So if an instructor posts the week's material on Monday morning, don't leave it until Friday afternoon to start looking at it. You have to start to pace yourself. You will be spending more time in front of a computer as a result. So your lectures will be delivered through the computer, and you'll also, naturally spend a lot of your free time on the computer as well. So make sure your eyes are getting a rest from time to time. Another thing is each course will probably be taught very differently. Keep in mind, many of you are taking courses online for the very first time. Many of your instructors are teaching a course online for the very first time as a result of the pandemic. And each of us will deal with things in our own way. So this can lead to a lot of different things happening. Some courses being taught synchronously or asynchronously, as I mentioned before. A lot of courses may use different software. So some courses may have this online homework program. Other courses you're taking may have that online homework program. So you may be a little bit frustrated sometimes because you're downloading a lot of different software. That will not be a problem for long once you get everything installed. So there's a little bit of growing as you first arrive here. And another big thing is if you're taking all your courses online, you likely won't be meeting a lot of your classmates, which is a bit unfortunate for now. But a lot of instructors will have online platforms called Piazza where you can go and ask questions. And it's a great chance there's an option there to set up study groups and things like that. So there are ways for you to meet people. I know especially engineering like to have Discord channels where they can go and talk. So I do encourage you to take advantage of that. You don't have to be completely alienated from your classmates.
That's fantastic that the university is taking such a proactive approach to making sure the learning experience is as innovative and as successful as if it were in person. And definitely one of the changes that I see myself having to cope with most significantly is having to learn, and pacing, well, having to learn on my own and pacing myself. It requires a lot of discipline, I reckon. And because I have taken an online course last year, and also being a teaching assistant, I've been used to also teaching in person in the past, and now this is something that I'll have to do. This is completely new, having to help out students, from the comfort of my home. But I'm looking forward to it. And the great thing about being a human being is that we adapt pretty quickly to our new environments. So.
Yeah, that's actually that's very true because I was still in like finishing my winter term, winter 2020, and that's when we suddenly like had to switch online. And for me, that was a pretty big change, but it was carried out really smoothly by everyone. And even though the change was pretty like quick, everyone adapted really well. The online classes were readily available. All office hours were switched to online, and it was pretty good. It actually helped me catch up in a few of my classes because I wasn't like physically walking towards any distance, so it was also very convenient. So I'd say like honestly it was a good experience, and you guys will actually like everyone coming and doing their online classes for the first time. You guys will be all right. It's gonna be fun. So yeah.
Definitely. Thank you for that, Keelan, Rania, and Ryan. I had another question for Ryan. I wanted to know, with all of that's going on, all of the changes, what would you say are some tips that you could give to students for them to have a successful first year?
Yeah, so whether it's online or on campus, my number one tip is still that your health is most important. So this means that you're eating properly, so you're having breakfast, you're having lunch, you're having supper, you're not skipping meals, and that you're getting the proper amount of sleep. All right, so you know what sleep schedule works best for you. You know what makes you tired, and you know when you're sleeping when you don't have to be sleeping. So you need to kind of figure out what that balance is. Especially with spending more time likely on a computer, you really do want to make sure you're getting your eyes rested all the time. And of course, mental health, make sure you're taking breaks, so you're not working 12 hours a day every day. You have to have some time to go and do something else outside of school. As far as school goes, making a schedule is really important. As I mentioned before, not all classes are going to have a scheduled meet time. So for some of your courses, it's going to be on you to make sure that you're actually sitting down and going through the material in your own time. So like I said, a lot of asynchronous lectures will post lecture notes and videos. They'll hold office hours, but it's up for you to take advantage of that material. No one's going to be there prodding you to do it. A big one, I think, is, especially in the online environment, is to know the expectations of the course. So each course will have a course outline, and you'll have access to that when the courses begin. And on that course outline, there is just all the information about the course. So the instructor's name, instructor's contact information, how the course will be run, if there's any tutorials or labs, how those will be run. I'm seeing lots of questions in the chat right now about, will labs or tutorials be online? That will depend entirely on the course and how the instructor is running it. So that information will be available to you on the course outline. It will tell you typically all the due dates of the assessments, where in the course you'll be on each week, how the assessments will be administered. Will they be written assignments? Will they be, download this software and then do this assignment online? What kind of software you should be downloading, what the textbook is, where to get the textbook, and also, and very importantly, how to get help. So like I said, instructors' office hours. If there's teaching assistants or TAs, they may have office hours as well. So the instructor will either put those on the course outline or tell you about them later on. And another piece of advice that I think is extremely important is that you need to be proactive. All right, so this means getting help when you need help. So when I teach, it's inevitable every year I have a student or two or three that come to me in week 9 and say, I haven't understood the material since week 3. And my question is always, why didn't you come and see me in week 3? Because now everything is built on that and you don't understand week 3, so now you're struggling all the way through. So I like to say, put out fires as they occur. So when you have a small problem, you don't understand something, that's a little fire, that's easy to put out. Just go ask for help. But if you don't put out that little fire and then another little fire pops up and then another little fire pops up, suddenly you have a big fire, and that's not so easy to put out. All right, so part of taking all your courses online is it's going to involve a little bit of maturity from you. That is making a schedule, taking care of yourself, and getting help when you need it. That's the most important thing.
Right. So the most, yeah, of course, so it's entirely up to us to put out the little fires. So we have to have our extinguishers as early as possible. So one of the things that also I found to be really, really important is to not hesitate to ask, your friends, your TA, your professors for help. So that could be it could be as easy as sending an email. They are based on what I've seen, they're really, really responsive, the teaching team. And I see also we had a lot of questions about exams and all of that, the way they will be delivered, whether we'll have to be, online at a specific time when an exam is being administered. That will be, as Ryan said, that will be entirely up to your your instructor, sorry. You will most likely be getting course outlines a week or 2 weeks before the classes begin.
Yeah, sure. And honestly, like I think one of the biggest, like Ryan, you were mentioning earlier that you were an academic advisor as well. And personally, academic advisors were a very big, like they played a really big role in helping me adjust to university, because I could go and I could ask about course selection, I could ask about like my program, I could ask about co-op, and on top of that, I got to know that I could do more than just a major in economics, and that's how I ended up doing like now I'm doing a minor in legal studies because my academic advisor told me how I could, incorporate what I want to do into my schedule, into my time at university. So I'd really like to shoot another question your way. Can you tell our incoming students how they can benefit from making an appointment with their academic advisor?
Yeah, so advisors play a really big role in the math faculty, and as I imagine in the other faculties. Right now, all our advising in the math faculty is done online. So if you just, the easiest way to find advisors in the first place is just Google advisors UWaterloo, and then you'll find the faculty. Choose your faculty, you'll find your advisor. In math, there's a link there. You can start to set up an online appointment, and an advisor will be online. Some of the things we do for students is we give advice on what courses to take. So oftentimes, many students have just gone through their course selection or are going through their course selection and choosing their 1A courses. Starting in around September or maybe early October, you'll be asked to choose your winter courses. And we're there and available to help you decide, what courses might be a good fit. Sometimes you're in a plan that there is no decision, you're just told what to take. Other times you have electives or you have a choice among certain required courses, and maybe you're not sure which one is the best fit. We can kind of help you sort that out. Another thing we deal with is often, especially after midterms, is help you decide if you should withdraw from a course. So it does happen sometimes. Students come to university and they're not quite ready for that step up in what's expected of you. And every now and then a student has a course that just doesn't go quite as well as they had hoped. And there is the option to withdraw from a course. So we can sit down and talk with you and see how you're doing in the course and discuss what the consequences are of withdrawing from a course. We can also advise you on how to proceed if you're in academic trouble. So my experience is the students at the University of Waterloo are all extremely bright and smart. And so if they're having a bad term where, they've potentially failed all their courses, it's usually not from a lack of intelligence. It's because something else outside of school has affected them, whether it's the possible death of a family member, mental health issues, physical health issues, and any variety of problems. So if you're finding yourself in a situation like that, you're also encouraged to come and talk to us, and we can sort of see what the problem is, make sure you're getting the help you need right away, and then discuss what your options are as far as your program goes going forward. Later on, we can also check that you're on track to graduate. So once you're getting into your 3rd and 4th year, students start to reach out to their advisors just to make sure that they're actually going to be graduating, and we do what's called a grad check. And we just make sure we count up all your courses and make sure you're fulfilling all the special little requirements. We can tell you how many courses you have left, what average you should be getting on those courses, all sorts of things like that. And also, we typically answer a whole bunch of other questions that I can't think of right now because there's such a wide variety of them. We do our best to answer them, or we try our best to direct you towards someone who can answer them. I do have one quick, I think Laura had asked a question in the chat that I really want to answer, if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely, yeah.
Laura had asked, how do you have the courage to talk to an instructor or a professor and ask for help in a course? And my response is, it does not take courage. Just ask. Simply ask. Most of the people who will be teaching you love their field. They're doing research or they've done research in the field. They're excited to talk to you about it. So don't be afraid to ask. Don't feel that you're dumb or something's wrong with you because you don't understand something. I usually tell my students, if you don't understand it, at least a third of the class does not understand it. And they're all too scared to ask as well. So it takes you maybe be a bit brave, I guess. I don't think it requires it. Just put your hand up and ask if you're in class, or an email is even easier because it's a bit more impersonal, I suppose. So you can just send the email and say, hey, I just have this quick question and I'm wondering if you could help me out. So it's really easy to do.
Thank you for that, Ryan. Definitely professors are a great resource. I know that for me, some of my professors have been my mentors, so I've gone for them for questions other than my courses. I've gone for them like, oh my gosh, what do I do with my career? And they have been able to help me. So definitely some great advice. And then continuing with that, with the switch online, I feel like you kind of responded to that, but what are some tips that you would give to students when it comes to communicating with their instructors, especially with everything online?
Just, be honest with the instructors. If you're having trouble, tell them. Don't try to say, oh, I think I got this. If you don't understand something, just say you don't understand something, and we'll do our best to help you. Keep in mind, some of your instructors will have 300 or 400 or 500 students, so we can't always have time to have one-on-one meetings with you. We'll usually try to direct you to office hours, where you'll often find that everyone else is asking the same question you are. So that's another great way to get help. Or if you need a little bit more help and we can't help you ourselves, we may direct you to a TA or somebody else who can kind of point you in the right direction as well. But yeah, just don't be afraid to ask questions.
Fantastic. Yes, do not be afraid to ask questions and reach out for help. I did see that we have, I do see that we had an interesting question about mental health, and someone asked if there are counselors in UWaterloo that can be contacted if they do meet some obstacles and require mental health assistance. Absolutely, that's a huge part about that's something that the university does really well. They are always there to provide support when it comes to mental health. And with regards to classes being held, live or pre-recorded, that will be entirely up to your instructor, and you will be told on your course outline when they are released closer to when the classes begin. So looping back to our faculty activity, I'm going to go through some of your answers really quickly. Thank you so much for the overwhelming feedback from that activity. We had lots of great answers. So Shantanu is going into the environment faculty, and to be precise, the geography and environment program. That's a fantastic program. Nahida is joining the Faculty of Environment in the Environment and Business program. It's a fantastic program as well, coming from a former Faculty of Environment student. Yash, Waged, and Atvarika, Karen, and Nadira will be all joining the Faculty of Arts, and Yash is going into psychology. So thank you so much for your answers, guys. We always appreciate your feedback.
All right. I think we have some questions as well. Down in the comments. Claudia, would you like to carry on from there?
Yeah, for sure. I'll read one and then Kealan can continue with the rest. I see that Warren asked, anyone have some Waterloo Learn courses not authorized? As in, I think they're asking if they weren't authorized to go into a Learn course. I believe is what they're asking. Ryan, do you know anything about that?
So my understanding is that students won't have access to Learn until the first day of classes.
Okay, so maybe it's wait till the first day of classes, and then if you don't see your courses then you can reach out, but until then. Kealan, would you mind reading the rest of the questions that we have received?
Yes, so I didn't actually get the questions, and I'm getting them now, actually. My apologies.
Okay. No worries.
Yeah, I've had this laptop since 2000, and well, since I started university, and statistics had it stolen my laptop. Okay, I will just go straight from the chat because these aren't loading. So do you know anything about peer mentors? I see that some of the students have not been paired with the peer mentors yet, and those were supposed to be assigned from July 6th, based on what I'm seeing. So Ryan, would you know anything about
could I just say one thing really quick?
Of course, you could.
Regarding that? Yeah, so regarding the peer mentor thing, so I'm also like participating as a peer mentor, and you guys will be getting an email. I think, yeah, you guys will be getting an email on Wednesday about through your like peer mentors, and they'll be sending you an email directly, and then they'll ask you to connect to Microsoft Teams, and then accordingly they'll tell you how to connect to them and then hold a meeting. So you guys don't have to worry about that. You'll be receiving an email. And of course, if you guys are in the Faculty of Arts, you might be under my peer mentorship. So hope to see some of you guys there.
Perfect. Let's see. Let's get another question from our audience. So, Ryan, I'm seeing a couple of questions from persons who really want to find out how to not get overwhelmed with all of this, all of these new changes. And as an instructor, what would you recommend if someone feels like they're overwhelmed, especially if they are not in, like they're not here in person, for instance, and if they're at home and they do feel overwhelmed, how should they approach their studies?
Right. So make sure that they understand the expectations of each course to begin with. And this involves just starting early. So as soon as you have access to the course outlines, make sure you're reading through them and you know what's required of you, and try to get as much done as you can as quickly as you can. I usually tell students that the first couple of weeks can be hectic at the University of Waterloo, and they can be overwhelming. Just the sheer volume of changes that are happening and the requirements placed upon you in up to 5 of your courses. I promise this will get better as you get a routine, and having a schedule will help with that and help speed that process up. To avoid getting overwhelmed, the best thing to do is just start things early. I mean, if you're leaving things to the day before, it can become overwhelming. So you really want to start things as soon as you can. And if you're finding that you're unable to start things any sooner than last minute because you're just so bogged down with work, you can always reach out to your instructor and kind of explain what's happening. You can also talk to an academic advisor as well. So help is available if you need it. I know the Student Success Office does offer workshops on time management and other things related to student success. I believe they're being offered online now, but I'm not entirely sure.
Right. I'm not sure either.
Okay.
So we do also have a lot of questions about the previous live chats. Those will be made available online in August. So you will have access to those to go over all of the information that we gave out over the past 3 live chats. So Shantanu asked, is Waterloo Learn an app or within the website? It is actually a learning tool that you can log into using your Quest credentials, where you have access to all of your courses and all of the respective course outlines. And yes, those will most likely be available closer to when classes begin, when the instructors will actually post the course outlines on Learn itself. So as of right now, I don't think you would see anything there right now. So be patient, and all the course information will be out as the data classes begins to loom nearer. I've got my first co-op in the winter, and it will be the first time I come to Canada. Any advice? Where to stay? What things should I get? Rania, I think you're following the same path, so would you answer that one?
Sorry, could you repeat that? You kind of like glitched for a second.
Yeah, sure. So, someone is approaching their first co-op in the winter term, and it will be the first time they come to Canada. So, any advice? Where to stay?
Okay.
What should they get? What should they approach?
Okay, so I'll be also starting my co-op in winter 2021, so that's pretty exciting for me as well. And just to like give you guys a quick overview, I think probably besides engineering students, I'd say a lot of you don't have to worry about co-op until the term prior to your co-op, because the university will be providing you all the information, the courses you need to take prior, what grades you need, everything. And you can always talk to your course advisor, of course, about what co-op is. For me, honestly, I'm actually just going to be waiting until to start the fall term, and that's how I'm going to be getting all my information for co-op. I know what courses to take for co-op prior. And of course, the Center for Career Action, which we'll be talking about later today in the live chat. So stick around for that because we'll be giving out a lot of information for that. And if you're coming to Canada for the first time, honestly, go with the flow. Don't depend on other people for your experiences because you are coming as a completely separate person with different experiences, different backgrounds. So honestly, just go with what you think is right. It's okay to make mistakes, and you know that's basically how you learn. So don't worry about it. You guys will be all right.
Fantastic. Yes. And I know as an international student also who hasn't started university and you're not familiar with the, university culture, for instance, it's all of this, it seems like a lot of information being thrown your way. It also feels like you, and I think we've all been in this position here as well, it feels like we have to do everything on our own, especially if you're not in Canada. It does really feel overwhelming, but something I would definitely recommend is doing a checklist. So you have your housing, you have say housing, you have the boxes underneath to take off as, do I want to stay on campus or off campus? Then you have speaking to your academic advisor. That's another box that needs to be ticked off to make sure that you are coming in with everything that you need, the fundamental things that you're prepared for. And also you want to have a checklist for your professional attire, make sure that you have your business shoes and your shirts, for instance. So checklists do help a lot. And don't forget that the university is equipped for, the Student Success Office, for instance, is equipped for situations such as this. So don't feel like you're alone, take it step by step. And your instructors will make life a lot easier for you because they are always available and they are really responsive. So take advantage of those resources.
Definitely. Thank you for that, Kealan. I have a question by Alia is asking if there would be time zone issues in case of online live classes. Ryan, do you know anything about live courses and time zones?
Yeah, so the instructor, we've talked about this, and so it's understood that, if you're offering something that the students have to be doing at 11 a.m. and there's students on the other side of the planet where it's, 3 in the morning, we have to be aware of that and we have to be willing to work around that.
Definitely. I also see a question by Medina, and they're asking if the peer mentor is the same as an academic advisor. Do you want to answer that one? Sorry.
I don't know much about the peer mentoring, and I'm an advisor, so I'm assuming that they're not the same. I'm assuming the peer mentor, you're paired up with another fellow student who can kind of walk you around and show you how things are. An advisor is more in an administrative role.
Yeah, mentors are like more like upper years helping you out. Academic advisors are professionals who you have to like book appointments with. Peer mentors will be reaching out to you guys and of course providing you contact information as well in case you guys need us after the sessions that we host.
So definitely both great resources you guys should be checking out. And I see Fatihali asked, I have requested for a deferral and have not received any answer. Ryan, do you know anything about deferrals?
So if you're deferring your admission to a later term and you haven't heard back yet, I would contact the registrar's office again and just kind of check in and see what's going on. You could also check with the undergraduate office in your home faculty. So if you're from math, you would check with the math undergrad office and see if they can give you any updates on what's going on.
Definitely. And they're also asking if they defer a term, how would they know when to submit the fees of the first term?
That's more of an admissions thing that I'm not entirely sure about. Registrar's office, especially Student Financial Services, could answer that question for them.
Definitely. And always remember in the registrar's office, like Ryan said, they have like their own section in the website of the university. And there is an important dates calendar with all of the fee, like the late fees and all of the deadlines that you have for your fees and for your classes and all of that. I see that Wagid asked, how do we make sure what classes are online and which ones are in person? So for the upcoming fall term, all first year courses will be online. So definitely for this upcoming term, they will all be online. And then in the winter, we will get more information on that. What would you say, Ryan?
There's one little catch. Math 137 and Math 135 are Calculus 1 honors and Algebra for honors mathematics. Some sections will be offered on campus. These
Okay.
will be small, I think 30 student sections, I believe. I'm not part of that, so I don't know too much, but I know there will be some sections offered online, or sorry, on campus.
Thank you. So definitely just check like your syllabus when the course is open. You will get more information about which courses, how will they be offered, and all of the information. I see that Alia also asked, considering the worst case scenario, if the international borders don't open and the classes in Waterloo go offline, how would international students cope up?
I'm assuming the student would already be here taking courses, and then the borders close. Then my guess is that the course will go online like it did in the winter term. So the pandemic started in the middle of our winter term, so we had to reassess how to finish the course. The course is switched to online, and we just completed the course online. And I think there's contingencies for that. If you're taking a course on campus like Math 137 or 135, and things get worse with the pandemic, there'll be a plan in place that the course can switch back to being online.
Definitely. So do not worry, that Waterloo will have you covered. If you're an international student, you don't have to worry. There will be a plan, like Ryan said, a contingency plan, which international students can go to if the worst case scenario does happen. Hopefully it does not. I see also some questions from the earlier in the live chat about the Faculty of Mathematics Waterloo Ready live chat. So I see that some of you had some trouble finding it. And that is because there will not be a live chat for the Faculty of Mathematics coming on because it happened earlier in June. But I would encourage you guys to check out the Waterloo Ready Math Web for more information about Learn modules. So check out the website and they will have more information on the modules on Learn and all of other information that you might need. I also see that our last question is for Ryan from Tanvi. They're asking, I really wanted to ask that how we can access our Waterloo email and how can we get our notifications?
So if you're having trouble accessing your University of Waterloo email, I would contact because you're from math, the math undergraduate office. You can just search for Math Undergraduate Office, UWaterloo, and you'll get their contact information. And you can email them and say, look, I'm having trouble. Can you direct me to where I can get my UWaterloo email account set up?
Thank you for that, Ryan. Okay, so I see that we're coming to an end of our time together right now, but before you leave, is there anything else that you want to share with incoming international students before they arrive?
Yeah, so I mean, I know this semester is probably not what you expected when you applied to university, and it's not what anyone expected. So we're all kind of working together here. Your instructors are learning to teach online for the first time. You're learning to take courses online for the first time. So we're all kind of in this together. So let's all be good to each other and be supportive of each other. Ask for help when you need it. Don't be afraid to give help if you think somebody else needs it. And yeah, I wish you all the best in your upcoming studies, and come say hi to me sometime once we're back on campus.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much, Ryan, for joining us today. It was a very helpful session, and I also even being a current student, I also learned a lot. So I really thank you so much for joining us today. And for everyone down in the comments, for more information on Canadian classroom culture and tips for success, check out the links shared in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us, Ryan, and we hope to see you on campus.
All right, bye everyone. See you.
All right.
Bye.
See you.
Okay, so now we're going on to our next section of the live chat, which is tips for working in Canada. Now, I want to know, all of you guys in the comments, by the way, when I said we are done with that section, the live chat isn't over. There are still plenty of useful information coming up. We're talking about tips for working in Canada, co-op work permits, and a lot of more useful information. So definitely not over yet. That being said, we're moving on to the next section. I want to know before we start if you guys can comment something about if you guys are either doing co-op or you guys are working part-time. So leave us a comment in the chat letting us know, are you in a co-op program? Are you working? I see a lot of comments already about co-op.
Yeah.
Definitely excited. So for me, for example, I am a regular stream. I'm not in co-op. However, that did not limit my experience in any way, shape, or form. I've had plenty of opportunities and experiences in working in Canada, so definitely something that I want to point out. For example, for me, there's a lot of there's a lot of like opportunities on campus. There are a lot of jobs that you can take part in, a lot of volunteer opportunities, which also look great on your resume, and they can help you form part of the UWaterloo community.
And like I mentioned earlier, I'll be starting my co-op in winter 2021. So whoever was earlier down in the comments saying, "Oh, I have co-op in winter," well, I hope to see you then. And I'm personally very excited. And of course, everyone, get ready with your co-op clothes because I actually have to go shopping and have to buy like more collar shirts and formal attire. So looking forward to that.
Right, and also me myself as a non-co-op student, while I was on my undergraduate for 4 years, I have found opportunities to work part-time with the athletics and recreation department as a trainer there. It's very much doable. You just have to pace yourself to see whether you are able to, cope with your studies or whatever, but it is very much doable. And you also do have some semesters where you are not enrolled in classes, where you basically have a quote unquote free semester, but we do encourage you to use them as productively as possible. So there were some recent changes in applying for jobs in Canada, and to help you through this application process, we have Diana with us today from the Center for Career Action here to tell us more about some of the things to expect that new international students may come across and how you can get ahead. If you have any questions for Diana, let us know in the chat and we will answer at the end. So, hi Diana, can you introduce yourself to our lovely audience?
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Third year PhD student. I've had the opportunity to take on various part-time jobs and research projects, as well as volunteer positions on campus. And amongst the most memorable ones are my 2.5-year trajectory as a career leader at the Center for Career Action and my tax internship in partnership with Deloitte.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for that introduction. And we right off the bat shoot a question towards you. Can you tell us more about the Center for Career Action? Like, what does it do?
Sure. So our main goal at the Center for Career Action really is to motivate you to achieve your career goals. So you can book drop-ins and appointments to access support and guidance in the development of your job application documents. And our amazing team can guide you through the various sections of a resume, as well as how to frame and best communicate your skills. All our appointments and workshops are currently available virtually, so you can connect with us from anywhere in the world. And we have an ample pool of resources available to you on the CCA and Career Hub websites. So we are really excited to get to connect with you guys.
Definitely. I feel like for me, my career advisor was a great resource. I remember going to a resume building appointment where not only did she help me with my resume, but she also gave me tips and tricks when interviewing and when going through different hiring processes. So definitely, guys, something you guys should be checking out when coming to Canada, whether you're in co-op or not. Also, Diana, we were wondering, what can students do to prepare to do the work search in Canada? What can they prepare to do?
Okay, so you guys can begin preparing for your work or volunteer search now by developing strategies to approach the work market. One of the things that you can do is to ask for guidance in a work search appointment, a work search drop-in with us. And it is also important to begin identifying what skills you have already developed. The Career Hub has resources to help you visualize the value of your engagement in the community, school clubs, course projects. Something that I do insist on students to remember all the time is that you have already come really far. So just don't discount your experience, the experiences that you have gathered so far, and start thinking better what kind of skills you've developed with them.
Fantastic. So I've noticed that it is very much equally important to build your professional and interpersonal skills, especially as you head into the workforce. So how would you describe the Canadian workplace culture to our incoming international students?
All right. Yeah, that's a great question. For detailed information on things to keep in mind about the Canadian workplace, you should check out the Career Hub. But generally speaking, company cultures vary widely from one organization to another. And yet there are some values that are consistent amongst Canadian companies and that may be different from other cultures. So good communication skills are a standard expectation. Speaking, listening, interacting, and collaborating with others really warranty the smooth operation of any business. Similarly, Canada thrives on diversity and multiculturalism, so equality plays an important role in every workplace. Being respectful of all differences, ensuring everyone is being treated fairly and courteously, as well as being valued for their contributions, are really highly valued in every workplace here. Some other highly ethical standards are also paramount, making sure to comply with rules and regulations, just like maintaining research integrity and confidentiality are crucial. When preparing reports, for example, respect other people's work by acknowledging their contributions and citing their work. And at work, remember that company documents as well as client information are strictly private. Punctuality is also important, so people are expected to arrive a few minutes before the scheduled meeting time. During winter, for example, you should prepare for contingencies by adding 15 to 20 minutes to your regular commuting time.
Well, thank you so much for those tips, and for someone who's starting their co-op very soon, that was like super helpful. So thank you for that. And earlier, I noticed you mentioned that communication skills are important. So are there any other skills that Canadian employers generally look for?
Yeah, so Canadian employers look for employees who have both technical and transferable skills. Technical or hard skills refer to job-specific skills or knowledge required for a role. So, for example, the ability to code and analyze data in the case of computer science students, operate machinery for some of our engineering students, or proficiency in a foreign language for arts or international development students. Transferable skills or soft skills, on the other hand, refer to those skills that, although not specific to a single job or industry, are valuable for how business works. So skills such as problem solving, teamwork, leadership and organization, as well as adaptability are really important. And for many Canadian employers, they can be even more important than the technical skills. The reason for this is that technical skills can be easier to teach on the job sometimes, whereas transferable skills prove your ability to fit in with the team and with the company's culture as a whole.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that information. So let's look back to our activity and take some of the answers that some of our lovely audience have sent in. So in terms of core programs, we have Saz, who's in a core program, Stefan Das, who's in a core program, Zach, Arnav, Nandish, Duty, and Leah, and Duty, in co-op, while Leah is in a regular program. So there is something for everyone here. Do not worry if you're not in a co-op program or not, if you're looking for employment. So Diana, we have some questions for you. Can co-ops be found outside the university, and how would co-op be done online? So I'm throwing two questions at you.
No, yeah, so co-ops can be found privately, so you don't need to take a co-op from the list of co-ops available through Waterloo Works. And you can also, right now, there are several co-op positions available that are done completely online. For more information of those, though, it's really best to talk to a co-op advisor. So before your co-op term, before you start any co-op, you can talk to a co-op advisor by making an appointment with them. So make sure to check our website, and if you have any questions on that, just reach out to our customer service team to see how to book an appointment with a co-op advisor.
Perfect. And now we have questions regarding part-time employment. So someone wants to know, Shagun wants to know, sorry, I am in a co-op program, but is it possible to do part-time jobs during my study period? And I'm also going to pair it with another question with regards to part-time work from Putri. She wants to know any tips on balancing school work with part-time work.
I will say that as long as you have the necessary work permit, you should be available, and it's quite common actually for undergrads to find part-time positions around campus. This can be at like coffee shops or cafeterias, but you can also work for the library, and there are some other programs that you can find positions on campus. So if you're interested, start checking that out. The Student Success Office has also a way to get you involved with volunteer positions, I know, on your website. Regarding on how to balance, I think peer mentors will be a very valuable source for you to reach out to. But generally speaking, it's just about making a schedule, right? If you know what you need to do, just make a schedule, be mindful of the time that you have. And something that I can tell you from experience, as I've been in academia for quite a while by this point, is be realistic with the expectations of what you can achieve in a given amount of time. At first, when you start just making a schedule, you write 10 different things to do in 2 hours. And then as you understand better how you work and how long things actually take, you realize that instead in those 2 hours, you can only achieve 2 or 3 things. That's great. It's just about being conscious of what you can actually do.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for those tips about part-time work. And it is very much doable. Of course, you as a student need to pace yourself accordingly to see if that works well within your schedule. So we have a question from Kunwar. Do you apply for co-op permit along with a visa? So that is actually a question that will be answered by our immigration assistant, who will be coming in after our interview with you then. So that being said, I know it is 9:55 and we were supposed to finish at 10, but we are not done as yet. We still have a lot of information to give you. So hang tight, our international students. We are not going to finish as yet. We are going to cover all of the information with you. So we have a last question for you then from Fatih Ali. From Miss Diana. Sorry, I keep saying Diana. It's Diana because my aunt's name is Diane, so that's why I keep saying Diana. I apologize.
That's okay. Don't worry about it.
So Fatih Ali wants to ask, I am from the Faculty of Mathematics. When can I transfer from regular program to co-op program? And in what term would I have to take co-op courses if I haven't transferred to co-op? If you need me to repeat the question, I could.
No, that's okay, actually. So this is a question that is perfect for your academic advisor. Your academic advisor should know what the dates are and what you need to have completed before taking that decision. And usually each department has a kind of like hub supervisor or advisor as well, with which you can have a consultation. So the first person to reach out to will be your academic advisor, and then probably get in touch with the COP supervisor for your department.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Diana. We really appreciate you joining us. If you guys want more information about the Center for Career Action, we will be putting the links down in the chat as well. And if you haven't heard already, like we mentioned before, Waterloo Ready is hosting a ton of live chats, and there is one that will be dedicated to co-op and career readiness. And if you don't know about that yet, we will be also linking that in the chat below to the website so you can get more information about how to attend the live chat and get more information on the Canadian workplace.
It was great being here today, guys. So
Okay. Thank you.
Have a great day. Yeah.
All right, so now that you've all heard about working in Canada, some of you may be wondering what work permits are all about. So to tell you everything you need to know, today we have Jessica McCormick, an immigration consultant from the Student Success Office. And as a note, we won't have a question and answer session for this portion. However, you'll be given Jessica's contact information at the end so you can contact her directly with any questions you have. Welcome, Jessica.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. I'm hoping that you can see me, hear me. Are we all good to go?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So I know there's lots of questions popping up about co-op work permits and working in Canada. So that's what I'm here for today, to hopefully clear a lot of that up. So I know we're running a little short on time, so we'll just dive right in.
Definitely. So I know that this is a time-sensitive subject for many. Definitely co-op work permits is something people want to know right now. So I would like to start with knowing what the difference is between cooperative education and the international consulting team within the SSO.
Sure. So Waterloo's cooperative education team has an international visa student employment specialist. Her name is Bettina, and her role is to assist in tracking permits and ensuring that students have the appropriate documents to legally begin their co-op work terms in Canada. So you may receive emails from her or requests from her to confirm your co-op work permit, if it's been received, or reminders to extend those documents when and if necessary throughout your studies. So she can be reached via email, and we'll add her email address in the chat box. So we've got the co-op education team and her role there. And then we have our Waterloo immigration consulting team, and we're located in the Student Success Office. And our team consists of 5 licensed, regulated Canadian immigration consultants. So once you begin your studies at Waterloo, we can assist you in understanding immigration law and policies in Canada. We can help you with understanding your immigration status and guide you through the processes of applying for or extending your Canadian immigration documents, such as your study permit, work permit, or visas. And we can also provide you with clarification on working in Canada policies. We are available for same, which can be booked through portal, or you can contact us through your web form or through our web form. So we'll add links to booking those appointments or submitting a web form in the chat box below. One thing to note is if you are booking an appointment and you're overseas, it's really important that you provide a phone number or an email address regarding how we can reach you for the appointment. As a new student, a lot of your contact information isn't uploaded in the student database systems yet. So we see you booked the appointment, but we don't know how to contact you. So really important that you follow up by submitting a web form after your appointment or after you've booked your appointment with those details. Yeah, so we'll link that in the chat box.
That's fantastic. A lot of very much comprehensive information there. So Jessica, could you explain what a co-op work permit is?
Sure. So a co-op work permit is a very, very important tool for a co-op works or a co-op student. So it's required to begin your first co-op work term in Canada. We recommend that you apply for your co-op work permit with your initial study permit, so from outside of Canada, if that's possible. When applying for your initial study permit from outside of Canada, one of the first steps is going to be to create an account on Immigration Canada's website. And then you're going to answer a questionnaire. So within that questionnaire, you're going to be asked, is work an essential part of your studies? If you're in a co-op program, you're going to answer yes to this. And then when you answer yes to this question, it's going to request that you update or upload evidence of work study and evidence of work requirement. Please contact me directly for guidance on what to do and what steps to take to ensure that you get your co-op work permit for January.
All right, well, those are some great points, and I'm sure you'll be hearing a lot from our incoming engineering students in the coming days. And just to shoot another question your way real quick, what is the difference between working in Canada as a regular student and working in Canada as a co-op student? What do students need to know about the difference between these two things?
Okay, so yeah, I did notice in the throughout Diana's question period, students were asking about
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jessica. I feel like that was a lot of very useful information. Now, before we let you go, I wanted to know if you have any final words for our incoming students.
Sure. So I think I'll just wrap everything up with 4 points here. So the first thing is that a co-op work permit is absolutely required to begin your co-op work terms in Canada. And we would request that you notify the International Visa Student Employment Specialist once you've received your co-op work permit. You can email her, and we're going to link her email address in the chat box. The second thing that I want to point out is that some programs may have degree required internships, such as the Global Business and Digital Arts program. So this is different than a co-op program. It doesn't have, a co-op every other term. This is a program that just has 1 term degree required internship. It is indicated on your letter of acceptance, so you could go ahead and apply for both study permit and work permit together. But if not, you can apply for your co-op work permit when you get here. You would require a co-op work permit to complete those internships as well. The third thing is if you didn't apply for a co-op work permit with your study permit, or you don't receive your co-op work permit when you arrive in Canada, sometimes this happens, you should plan to submit your co-op work permit as soon as possible after arriving in Canada. Connect with us for support with that process when you get here. And then last but not least, during the fall term, we host weekly immigration information sessions. So topics are going to range from co-op work permits, COVID-19 updates, working in Canada policies, to post-grad work permits. So I would suggest registering for some of those sessions that interest you, and you can register on portal in early September. So remember, guys, you're welcome to email me if you have any questions. Sorry, we won't be able to have a Q&A period today, but I think emailing me is probably better because everything can be pretty case specific, and I'm super happy to help you one-on-one. And if you would prefer to chat over the phone or via video, then you can let me know in the email and we will set up a time.
Thank you so much, Jessica. And like she said, if you have any questions, send her an email. We'll be dropping her contact in the chat. Again, thank you so much, Jessica, for joining us today.
No problem. Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Take care, Jessica. Thank you. So, as we learned throughout our series, thriving in your first year isn't all about academics. So if you haven't had the chance to watch the first year video series, you definitely want to check them out. They give a first-hand experience from a student's perspective, and they're informative, and most importantly, really funny.
You'll also get the information on the immigration consultants, health services, and what your health insurance covers, what your What card does for you, what fees arranged means, and so much more.
All right, so I'd really like to move on to the prize giveaway. I'm really excited to tell you guys how you can win it. So the question is, what superpower would you want to have while living in Canada? We will choose our favorite one, and while you submit your answers, we'll answer some of the final questions you've sent in the chat. But before we get to that, Claudia and Kealan, what superpower would you like to have that would help you live in Canada?
For me, okay, I'm gonna go first. I feel like the superpower I would love to have is teletransportation. So just thinking about like a place and then just being teletransported to there, because in the winter that would be so helpful. Sometimes I don't want to go through like the cold, so I would get to like my 10 a.m. lecture in 3 seconds. Also, 10 a.m. lectures or like 8 a.m. I know some of you guys, when everything goes back to normal, or if you guys have live classes, live video recordings, you guys will have to wake up early. So definitely something I wish I could have with those really early in the morning lectures, just be teletransported to my class, get ready in 5 minutes, be there on time. So yeah, what about you, Kealan?
I'm just looking at some of the answers we're getting right now on this side, and they're absolutely ridiculously funny.
Yeah.
So I was gonna
Actually,
say at first, be like a ghost whisperer, for instance, and then some NR commented to be like a goose whisperer and fight crime, and that made me crack up so much. It's definitely something that that's definitely a superpower I would fancy having. And yeah, so I would definitely be able to, you know, like a Dr. Dolittle, be able to interact with the animals and all of that. That would be that would be pretty useful.
Honestly, I'll probably have to go with like what Claudia said as well. Transportation, like just transporting to places, because I always had trouble waking up in the morning for my morning class, especially during the winter where it was really cold. And obviously, like, you know, you have one class, there's sometimes you have like back-to-back classes with like a 10-minute difference. So you really have to like shoot, like you have to run out and you have to go attend the second one. So I think just to save the hassle and the time, I'd really just like to transport myself. So yeah.
So I feel like you're saying we can teletransport together somewhere. We're both gonna be like, we're going to lunch and we're just gonna teletransport as a
Yeah,
team. I
for
love
sure.
that. Yeah.
Bonding.
So I see that there are two last questions that we will answer just while Rania assesses all of the answers and see which one's the winner. First one is by Tanvi and they're asking, can you also tell us about the President's Scholarship? So from what I know, you guys can follow up with me, Kealan and Rania, with what you know. The President's Scholarship is like an initial scholarship that you get when you get your offer to the university. So that information would be in your offer of admission. Also, I believe I believe it's in the Quest also, like on the fees for the term. But Keelan, what were you saying?
Yeah, so this President's Scholarship is after, yeah, so all that information is you're right, Claudia. The thing is with the President's Scholarship, you will be informed in your offer of admission whether you've qualified for the President's Scholarship or not, and that scholarship will be directly applied to your fees on your Quest account. And yeah, so that's what happened.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's why.
just one more thing. If you guys have any questions, you can always contact UWaterloo's financial services. They're always available and they can give you tons of information about, and there we go, there's a link in the chat below. So you guys can go and check it out over there. And of course, the email is also like always available and personally very helpful for me. So yeah.
And then I see the last question by Wagged, and they're asking, where can I access my letter of acceptance? So from what I believe in your offer package or in your acceptance package, there should be a letter of acceptance. But there is also on Quest all of the important documents. There is a proof of enrollment, which I believe works for all of those documents that you need when immigrating to Canada or when you're taking out any Canadian documents. I believe the proof of enrollment works very well with that. But Keelan and Rania, do you have any other points about the letter of acceptance?
I think if you don't have a physical copy, I think they do send a physical copy once you get your first offer of admission. It could be accessed on Quest in your admissions tab. Rania, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, no. Yeah, my bad, I interrupted you. But yeah, you're absolutely correct. Personally, I didn't get my letter of acceptance in hard copy because at that time we were having some difficulties. We had some national holidays that were conflicting, you know, the delivery dates of everything. So you can just like Keelan said, you can just access it on Learn and then print it for yourself. And I think this is a very helpful document if you plan on traveling to Canada. You have to keep your letter of acceptance with you. So yeah. All right, so I think I'll just like move on to the answers of the question that we got. So what superpower would you pick? And there are so many great answers. I'm like I can share with you guys, you know, honestly. Okay, so I'm gonna start right off the back. Anna and Nandesh says that never get cold or to produce fireballs in the winter season to keep myself warm. Honestly, I feel that big time. I hate the winter, so honestly, same. And Paranjay says telepathy. Totally get that. Yes. A bunch of you said not needing sleep. Okay. So honestly, I think sleep is a great way to pass the time. So I definitely say that even if you don't require sleeping, I'd still say go for. Yeah, I just love to sleep. Why would you want to avoid that? So, and then Sanya says steal all the maple without consequences. That would be good actually. Hargan says being resistant to homesickness. Totally get that. Alexandria says I would like the ability to understand all information and also teleportation. Ikam says resistance to cold, of course. Pradyut says shapeshift into a giant goose. Love that. This one, okay. Irene says summon coffee whenever I want to. Siddharth and one more other person, I believe. Yeah, Siddharth and Fateh Ali both said, we want to be immune to all diseases, so immortality. I totally understand that. Samia says to have summer season all year round. Well, I really like spring. Actually, I love fall, so I'd say I debate with that a bit.
I prefer the heat. I mean, living on a Caribbean paradise for 10 years, well, in Trinidad, for instance, I could live with that. And I'm pretty sure, well, I don't know if Claudia prefers the same. I don't know if you.
No, I totally agree. Yeah, I feel like the heat is the best. Honestly, like the one weather I could live like all year round with. So definitely agree with you, Kealan.
Yeah. And then we also have like Max saying being able to live off instant ramen. That would save me so much time and money, honestly. Totally get that. And Vivek says to be an extrovert. Okay. So as an extrovert, saying to you guys, being an extrovert is not always easy. Everyone needs to charge their social battery. So don't worry about it. And of course, UWaterloo is a great place where you can find both introverts, extroverts, and ambiverts as well. So you guys don't really have to worry about adjusting to too many different groups. So I think, honestly, I will have to go for the funniest one, which was Pradyut saying shapeshift into a giant goose. That was just too good. So congratulations, Pradyut. You are the winner of our prize giveaway. Make sure to message the Ask Us panelist with your student ID number, and we'll be transferring the Flex dollars directly onto your card. So yeah.
Congratulations. Honestly, I love that answer as well. I feel like it's very creative. That being said, our third live chat and final live chat is slowly coming to an end right now. So as always, we want to know if you found it helpful. At the end of the live chat, when you leave, there will be a survey that will pop up. So let us know with your feedback. Did you enjoy them? Did you not enjoy them? Let us know. And yeah, we will read all of your comments and try to change whatever you guys feel like should be changed, or just follow your feedback.
So thank you. That concludes our live chat for today and the entire series. It's been an incredible experience getting to know you. We can't believe that it was probably over 400 of you guys have joined, and it's been a pleasure meeting you all, and hopefully we will see you on campus soon when things get better.
Now, before leaving, before we finally say goodbye, I want to know for Kealan and Rania, what is one piece of advice you'd like to leave our audience with today?
Definitely something I that's really consistent when I try to help, or well, try to give advice to other people, is to practice patience with yourself. The adaptation process in a new environment is not something that is easy. So when you do feel a bit stressed or homesick, don't think that anything is wrong with you. It's perfectly normal to have those feelings of homesickness, of anxiety. Take it easy on yourself, take a deep breath, speak to your family regularly, and have faith in your abilities to succeed. And because you were able to get to this point, and you are more than capable of going forward. So you are not alone.
That's some great advice, and I think my advice would definitely be very smart with your finances. UWaterloo is not a place where you you have to feel the need to, you know, be brand conscious or what phone you have or what clothes you wear. I think that's one thing I really like about Waterloo is that everyone's extremely humble and welcoming here. And I feel like that's what helps it stand out from other universities at times. And so yeah, be very smart with your finances. Don't splurge on things you don't need. Make sure to save money for emergencies, for traveling, for, you know, food, and of course, if you're living off campus, for rent as well. And you have to be very smart with your budgeting. So that's one advice. That's one piece of advice I'd like to leave with all of you.
I think those are some very valuable pieces of advice from both of you guys. For me, I would say that the one piece of advice I would give is ask for help. Don't be afraid to do so. We want to see you succeed. Your instructors, your advisors want to see you succeed. And there are a lot of people that are in the same boat as you. So definitely, if you ever need help, reach out. You can reach out to me as well. I know that some of you guys have already reached out to me via Instagram. So definitely feel free to reach out to me. I'm open to answer any questions. I know that Kealan and Rania are also open to help. So definitely, my one piece of advice is reach out, ask for help. I'll put my Instagram on the comments, by the way.
I'll do that as well.
Asking. Yeah,
Same.
I'll put them too. Okay, so that being said, our live chats have officially come to an end. I want to thank you all for joining us throughout this whole journey. I really thank you guys for joining, and I wish you the